Welcome back, guys. This is episode 4, the episode we've all been waiting for. I mean, this looks pretty and all, and go check out the other episodes if you want to see all the cosmetic things we've done to this bike. Just before we get there, you can see the black seat did come and the black fender is here. What do you reckon? I think it looks awesome in black, and I did end up, following up from the last video, my bar end caps have come, so it's completed the look a lot better. Anyway, that's all fun and games. Let's get into the fun part, because today we get to play with this box of goodies, because we have block-off plates, O2 sensors, things like that, and of course the Leovince exhaust. So without further ado, let's get all this stuff out and see what we are working with in this video. That's right, the day has finally come. I've just had the first service out of the way, so after 2 weeks of this thing sitting around, I can finally put it on the bike. I've been waiting for this day because I love the sound of SMCRs with full systems. However, the Euro 5 compliance means that this bike at the moment sounds a bit like a hairdryer. So let's get that disappointing sound fixed, and I'm going to do all of these little mods in accordance with keeping my warranty intact for a little bit. I'm not going to get a full ECU tune just yet, but that will be coming. So in the meantime, what we're going to do to accommodate getting this system on is we're going to be putting on the Rottweiler SAS or SAS delete system. I'll explain that a little in a second, but basically if you don't get the block off plate for this, that's basically because as it stands with the Euro 5 especially, it has an extra secondary air system, hence the SAS, that needs to suck in more air to put into the current stock exhaust to get that catalytic converter up to temperature to burn off the extra chemicals. We won't be needing that because inside of this is kind of gutted out. There is no catalytic converter, which effectively will make this bike have a straight pipe. So we're going to block off any secondary air getting in because we don't need that. We want to keep the temperatures down. And also in accordance with keeping the temperatures down and the fueling a little bit better on this bike, let me give a big shout out to Kevmod for this VE dongle. Kevmod is basically a guy based out in Australia. He's got awesome feedback on cracking these bikes as well as many others, so make sure you check him out. So if you're in the market for that, definitely check out that if you have a Euro 5 bike. And most importantly, let me just quickly shout out Gaben Hood for giving me the idea of going to Kevmod because I was looking for ideas. So Gaben Hood, thank you for putting me onto that because I didn't really think of ever going to this guy until you came about. Right, introductions and all of that out of the way. Let's get on to making this bike an absolute animal. So I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with this kind of setup. However, if you're not, what's going to be happening is this little plate here is going to be coming off, and these tubes couple around here feeding this here. This is the SAS system, the secondary air system. They get fed extra air and that goes straight back into the exhaust. We're going to be removing this completely and blocking off that plate with this block off plate. I'll tell you what, this would be a lot easier if I wasn't holding the camera in the other hand. There you have it, one nicely secured block-off plate. And just so you guys know, there is a rubber housing built onto the actual bike here. So when you compress these, they obviously close the air gap. How much better is that? Okay, let's get rid of this thing. But for us to be able to do that, we need to first remove this valve here. And there's a quick tip for you guys. If you can't get much leverage, get a spanner and wedge it. And that way you can use that as an extra extension if you don't have long tools like myself. So there's a plug, and Rottweiler's solution around the sensor, which kind of makes sense to me, is to plug it into itself to give it that full closed loop system so it thinks it is still intact. Very clever, very, very clever. So there you go, as dodgy as that looks, that's all you need, and then you get a cover to go over this and you heat shrink that down to give it a complete seal. Now I'll be quickly honest here, I was meant to pick up another heat gun on the way home from work today and completely forgot because the other one what I used for wrapping the bike crapped out. So I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way and just use a lighter. So there you are, nicely sealed off, shrink wrapped, and if needs be I can just peel this off in the future. Hopefully we don't need to do that, of course. But the option is nice to have should my warranty happen to come touch metal into play. All right, before we jump onto the other side of the bike, we can finally remove this canister, unhook these hoses, and obviously unhook them from the other side and pull them through. All right, so all I've done now, not to confuse it, is there's two tubes here that follow the whole chassis behind. They're stuck together with cable ties. I've kind of pulled that through, a couple of cable ties. They go to a Y splitter behind here, which will be quite hard to see if I get a light in there. That's a Y splitter. One goes this way and one goes directly up into the overflow for the fuel tank. Then they join together to a tube that goes down the back. This guy right down in here. So that is that Y junction that was sitting behind. So one obviously split off into the SAS system and one goes up into the fuel line. So what we're going to do is join onto that fuel line that's left hanging, as you can see there, and we're going to put an adapter between these two and basically just have a normal fuel overflow. So there you go, effectively giving you one long overflow pipe, and obviously I'll just cut this to size and cable tie on the inside so it just has somewhere to drop off should I overflow the tank. Right, back to getting rid of this thing. Now over on the other side of the bike, I don't know how much you guys will be able to see this, but there is a tube here and it basically comes out and feeds straight into the engine. So you pop this off, and Rottweiler have given you a block off bolt to go where that came out, and then that basically feeds around into this little circle unit down here, and then once you've blocked this off and pulled this tube off, you can remove this whole assembly. So depending on how well you can see in there, that little part of the nozzle where I just popped the hose off is actually a tiny little bolt which you have to take off first. So that could be quite tedious. All right, dudes, it's starting to get dark, but don't worry. This will just be the only bit of the video that looks a bit iffy. The other side's got a lot more light. I've had to go out and buy an extension, a deep socket, so bear that in mind. You're going to need a really deep 8mm socket to get this bolt out. So there you go, I hope you can see that. That is the nozzle, and that is the replacement bolt that they give you. So let's get that in, go to the other side of the bike where we can pull this assembly through and pretty much finish this part of the job up, get onto the exhaust and put the fuel dongle on and see what this thing sounds like. So that circle assembly that we saw on the other side, I've just pulled the hose off that on this end, which is attached to this part, so we can pull that right out. That canister's gone. So there you go, you just fish out that whole assembly. So then it's just a case of unplugging this like so, and then replacing it with the cap that Rottweiler gives you. Just like that, and that fits nice and snug. So we should be left with the end that we did earlier, this part here, and then now we just have to remove the thing that we unplugged earlier. Right, I know it's getting dark, but nothing's really changed. This switch thing that we took off before, there's a hose running straight up into the airbox. Now, like I said, I'm going to keep my warranty, so I'm just going to pop it off here. This will just pop off, and then I can just block that tube off, and then we're pretty much done. And it's just a case of me cable tying all these loose ends neatly. But that's pretty much how you do it.
A few moments later.
Okay, those of you that are astute may notice this is a separate day. I left it last night because what happened is it started getting a bit dark, and I did drop a tiny bolt inside of my engine bay here. It took me way too long, probably about an hour to fish it out, and by then I was totally done. I have jumped ahead and done a few things on the bike, but nothing too much that will screw up this video. What I've done is I've removed the exhaust, and funnily enough, because I had to go and get that long socket for the plug on the other side of the engine, I did actually go out and get a heat gun. But that's good though, because it means I can tidy up all the little bits of the wrap that I didn't get as good as I wanted to last time. Well, this big ugly thing here weighs about half of a car, and we have actually jumped ahead because there's nothing too much to show you guys. We're stuck on the exhaust. I didn't show you that because it's not really that interesting. Right, let me roll this bike forwards and we can get onto the fueling side of things, because as you've seen, I have plugged in the O2 sensor. So lastly, all I need to do is hide these cables. I think I'm going to wrap this with electrical tape so it's nice and black, tuck them right up there so you can't see them, and go right behind this and tuck it somewhere inside here, just like that, and cable tie it in place. Cable tie all this back, sort my plastics out with the heat gun like I said, put it back together and give this thing a sound test, and I think we should be done. But for now, that's enough talking, Ryan. It's been a long enough ordeal getting this set. Let's get all the plastics put back together, and then I'll meet you guys back here with the bike put back together, and we can do a sound comparison of what it sounds like before and after. But for the most part, that is the build series on the SMC R 690. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the struggles of my little hiccups, my mishaps with the wrong parts and the odd bolt I've dropped here and there. It's been a nice little learning curve. I enjoy tinkering on the bikes and I think it came out awesome. When the light is better and there is some sunshine, I'll get these both out and do some cool visuals with both of them, and I will be doing a comparison video between the KTM SMC R690 and the Yamaha MT-09. Until then, stay safe, stay sunny side up, shiny side up, however you want to say it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.